What's up, guys? It is Dylan here today. We're doing something that might happen every once in a while on this channel, but I will be doing reviews of certain NASCARs and other items for Hot Wheels and stuff like that. But today I'm showing you my complete NASCAR collection of 1/64 die-cast models, ranging from, I don't know when the first one I got was, but till as of this year right now, I've gotten 4 new cars today, and I'm ready to show off the collection in numbered order. First up, we have the, I want to say 2013 Jamie McMurray McDonald's number 1. It's pretty much the only number 1 I have. Moving on down the line, Brad Keselowski's 2014 Blue Deuce, number 2. Now we get on down to the Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Austin Dillon cars. Up here we have the 2014 NASCAR Authentics number 3 Wrangler, driven by Dale Earnhardt, about 1980s, I want to believe. Then he moved on to the black Goodwrench number 3, which eventually went on to become this. This is my favorite version of the number 3 Goodwrench car. Not sure pretty much where I got this one from. Not sure if it was a Hot Wheels or whatever. But I found it in a garage sale and I really enjoyed it. Finding it, and it was an awesome looking car and I was really excited. And then we move on to the young guns of this season. The number 3 Dow car of Austin Dillon, Rising Star, Richard Childress' son, I want to say, if I'm correct. He's going to make a name for himself soon in the Sprint Cup Series. Then we move on to Kevin Harvick's number 4 cars, which include his 2014 Bloomin' Onion Outback number 4, and his Freaky Fast Jimmy John's number 4 car of 2014. Now I move on to some other older cars. This one was weird. I found it in one of my friend's houses, and he said I could keep it. It is a number 5 Terry Labonte car from a cereal box. You can tell by bad plastic base. Sadly, it's seen better days. You can't roll easily. The tires are pretty much just stuck. But still, nice piece. Hood pops open. Doesn't really stay open that easily, but it looks like on the inside. But it's a nice little thing to have. Then we move on to this. This was the number 8 Goodwrench car. I want to say this was Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, but that I'm not certain of. I've never really actually seen this car race before. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Then we move on down to Casey Kane's Dodge number 9, back when he actually did drive the number 9 car for Dodge, till Dodge stopped being a sponsor and really a big car producer for the main series in NASCAR, but oh well. Then we come up to really the only competing lady in the highest series in NASCAR, Danica Patrick. This car was this is one of my favorite diecast I have, because it is from my first ever race that I went to for NASCAR. You can kind of tell the difference. It's a little bit like there's no really branding or anything on the bottom like for Hot Wheels or a certain producer. It's from their shop and production. But you can tell, like, from this one, it has all the, if it would focus, it's not gonna focus, there we go. But it has like all the manufacturing details and stuff for what it is. So that's how it's like from difference. But this was Danica's car from last year, and this was almost not produced for die casting. It was almost forgotten, but it was produced for the last wave of last year, and it came out this year, surprisingly. But I was able to find the first 3. I wasn't able to find the 4th car in this series, but it's her testing series car, and however you find this one, Then we come over to Tony Stewart's number 14 cars. Once again, this is a car. The next two are cars I picked up at the race at Texas Motor Speedway a couple years ago. And this was his Mobile 1 / Bass Pro Shop number 14. And this one's his Mobile 114. And then this is the NASCAR Authentics number 14 from last year. Pretty beautiful truck. Car. Sorry, I might be getting that wrong between Monster Truck Jam and NASCAR videos. But move on to Greg Biffle's number 16 from a couple of years ago. 3M. This was actually I want to say an Independence Day car, because I have a couple of cars that I picked up that were red, white, and blue schemes, and they were really nice to pick up. This was another car I found at one of my friend's house that he gave me. It is a NASCAR that I want to say was produced by Hot Wheels, but I don't think it was. Okay, yeah, it was. It was produced by Hot Wheels. I think a couple of cars were actually produced from Hot Wheels. Not sure if the date is right, but 1999 is when this car was made. And it's Matt Kenseth's car before, I want to say around, 2012. 2012 is when he changed car owners and teams and all that stuff. That is his DeWalt 17 car. Then we move on to Kyle Busch's number 18. This is another one of the red, white, and blue cars I was talking about. How they were produced like this. I really don't think the scheme ever ran like this, but not quite sure. Next up, we have the 19 of Elliott Sadler's. This one's very scratched up and chipped paint all over the place. I got some of these when I was really young, and I just did whatever I want, so sadly damaged a lot of the paint on the cars, but all in all, it's still pretty good. You can tell it's not a really big producer from any major companies, so more than likely it came like in a cereal box or something. I'm not really sure. Then we move on to Trevor Bain's Quick Lane 21 machine. When his last year of Wood Brothers Racing from last year, this was the 2014 release of the 21. So that was his last year, and this year he moved on to join Roush Fenway Racing, and he's hoping to make a name for himself in that 21 machine. Then we move on to one of my least favorite drivers of the sport, Joey Logano. And his 22, I didn't mention this, but his teammate, those two are some of the worst people in the NASCAR. Mostly him, because he never knows when to shut his mouth, because he'll just go and start fights whenever he wants to. His teammate, still not a big fan, but he doesn't run his mouth as much as the other one. But here is his his Penske Shell 22. This is another part of the wave that almost didn't get released from 2014. It's AAA red, white, and blue 22 from last year. And his Nationwide Series car, which they started releasing from NASCAR Authentics last year. I think they made 3 or 4 of these cars, and this was one of them, his Discount Tire 22 car. Then we move on to my sadly only Jeff Gordon car from my first race at Texas Motor Speedway, which was his Drive to End Hunger number 24. And then the last car I got from that event was Ryan Newman's number 39 Quicken Loans car from 2013. And now, the biggest name, one of the biggest names in NASCAR, Richard Petty. His racing team has been around since the 50s or 40s. Between 40s and 50s is when it around started. I'm trying to remember if this car was before this car, but still this is the Chex Party Mix number 43. And we move over here. This is when STP started becoming his bigger sponsor for his cars. You can see right there, it's kind of tells you stuff about Richard Petty. Salute to Petty. Then we move on to when NASCAR's all started to look the same. This is the number 43 Cheerios car. And then we move on to the modern day 43 car, which is the Smithfield 43, driven by Eric Almirola, winner of the summer race of the in Daytona last year, due to a rain delay. But yeah, moving on, we come to Kyle Petty's number 45 car, his Sprint PCS car. I'm not sure what the Sprint PCS is, but that was his car back until he retired. And next up, we move on to Jimmy Johnson's 48 machine. Got a couple of these. This was one from 2013, his Lowe's. Lowe's has pretty much been with Jimmy Johnson since the beginning of his career in NASCAR. Then we move on to the 2014 Lowe's 48. And then this was the last car I have that was almost unreleased last year, which is the red, white, and blue Lowe's race winners from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Then we move on to his black Cobalt Tools 48, which I think is one of the nicer looking ones. The flat black with the white looks really good. Then we move on to my favorite driver in the entire series of NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I just think he's awesome. His dad was awesome. He left behind a great legacy, and Junior's been able to follow up afterwards with his number 88, with his Diet Dew number 88. It's one of the nicer looking ones. I wish they remade that one. The National Guard 88. Another National Guard 88, but this one was released last year. It's pretty much his entire design from last year that he ran the entire time. This is the other testing series car they released last year. It was black, orange, and red 88. And then my latest pickup for Dale Jr., Kelly Blue Book number 88. And the last of the official NASCARs, Carl Edwards Fastenal 99, which if you're a NASCAR fan, you now know he's no longer driving number 99. He is now driving for Joe Gibbs Toyota in the 19. Now here are some that really are not real NASCARs, but they are special NASCARs, which are race cars. Sorry if that didn't make sense, but they are limited edition cars from each race of a season, if I'm not mistaken, at each racetrack. This is from the Texas, the Dickies 500 in 2007. Black and blue flame job on it. It looks really nice. And the Samsung 500 white, blue, and black car. These were both made from 2007, which is what the 07 means. Then we also move on to the set of 05 cars. The exact same races, but just from 05. Red, white, and blue, Mission Complete 05. And the white and blue number 05, Texas Special. Now here's one that's not a NASCAR, but it was made by Hot Wheels, and it pretty much reminds me of the truck series in NASCAR, which is the number 37 pickup truck racer. 37. Found this at a discount bin. Really enjoyed it. Circle trucker. Sorry, I can't look through my phone to see this stuff, but I like to use this in racing that I do with my NASCARs. Really happy to find this. I was really hoping they would release like diecast models, real diecast models for NASCAR trucks, but they never really did. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And final look at everything. If y'all have any more questions about the certain cars I've shown you, tell me or ask me in the comments below. And I don't know. Still have slots for my next sign-up series. And kind of rambling on right now. Sorry about that, but I've been in love with NASCAR for years, and it's kind of taken over my life. That and Monster Jam, collecting, always looking for new stuff. And I'm just really excited to show this collection off to you guys. This is